Okay, here we are. This is the line for this year, the year ahead. From September 10th, she's already started into it. One walks when one should be still. One talks when one should be silent. One sees a light but cannot restrain oneself. Quality and culture will suffer. As soon as you hear that, you're thinking of her Venus, Neptune, Mars, Neptune. You see the Neptune screen. Well, wonder what that could play on. So she's struggling with trying to clear that. One encounters strong characters. Humility will accomplish more than force. One steps into the light. One initiates a relationship and speaks first. One is of good cheer and contributes something. Even though response will be positive, one should not rely on others. The association is temporary. So she's still single and not with a person, doesn't know where she belongs, and is trying to figure out what she's going to do. And she sees it as traveling. So this is the theme for this year. But at the same time, we went through each of these I'll just do one of these lines, so I won't read them all, but just inside each of these themes is the theme of going to the first place. Okay, here we go. It's going to be the first one, so we'll get a sense of it. It's going to, line 1 is September till November 10th. That's the phase she's in now. The mind is not settled. It wanders here and there. Little will be accomplished. Progress will be slow. So that's now. And then from November 10th to January 11th, it goes, treated as a stranger, one gathers one's thoughts and waits for clarity. Well, she's finishing class, but at the same time, I think she's just about to start traveling and going out west or going someplace and trying to set up differently in another place. So being treated as a stranger, that would be likely. But she felt that being a stranger for a whole year, 2 years ago. So we're going on a theme within the theme, a repeated theme within a 6-year theme. Only the 6-year theme is playing out again within 2 months, 60 days. So the third place, which would have been, where are we here? Third place. Yeah, third place is really February 1st to February 20th, February 11th. It's just 10 days. These are just 10-day themes. Ideas come up and light up the mind. There are great implications. Action is inevitable. Then it gets to 4, which is double repeat, a repeat of the bigger one going on. And so we're at a point here where normally, if I get to a chart, I've worked at this for, I'll say, okay, I gotta go, I'll go to sleep, I'll take a minute, the next day I'll come back, I'll spend a couple hours on it going into this. And which I already did even for this class, just to go into it, because you're topping a whole nother database of information. So the fourth, so in the big way, this is happening, and in the small way, it's happening, and this is gonna be for, it's line 4, February 20th to the 21st, so through Valentine's Day. One walks when one should be still, one talks when one should be silent, one sees a light but cannot restrain oneself. Quality and culture will suffer. It would be easy to attract a questionable person around Valentine's Day. You know, but it's a texture of something going on, and the I Ching is written in a way to how to deal with change, how to avoid guilt and blame. That's the beauty of it, and we don't find much astrology written with that theme. So putting them together, that's really useful. But in going forward here, when we have, I want to go forward a bit. We go through, it stays in this section of the Wanderer, goes to changes to line 5 in September 4th of 20 next year. So it changes, and it changes the hexagram, goes from coming to meet into preponderance of the great, where it will be for the next year. Next year, preponderance of the great. Preponderance of the great, that bodes well for thinking about astrology, thinking about bigger implications of things, rather than traveling. So it's still in the traveling mode, but she's thinking of bigger implications. But then it, the hexagrams that start on the fine level for a 2-month level, it's obstructions through next summer, July 14th to September 14th. Keeping still from September to November. From November to January, it goes through 2 hexagrams, but the first November to December, it's in modesty. keeping still. Then it hits the opposition. Then the sun hits the, I mean, it's really hitting the opposition during this whole period. It's only 1 degree orb, 1.5 degree orb. So it's coming up to this opposition of the moon. The soul is growing to be seeing how far away the family I started from is from. It's the opposite point of it in the 9th house of understanding. So these ones, as you get close to that, once she's completed that, then it moves forward. But immediately on going through that aspect, it throws it into the hexagram for 1 month of standstill stagnation. And then it moves it into gathering together and then progress, it moves on. So these ones move on, but these themes are very interesting. So like she starts seeing the bigger picture of the great the development, preponderance of the great, but inside there's a standstill. She's not moving. She's puzzled by maybe she goes visit her mom or something, or dad, or something happens with the family or something. Puzzle comes up that's bugging her for pretty much it's the sun. It's going to be for 2 or 3 years, but it's critical in this period when it's more closely to exact, which is the end of next year. So I could read more. I'm not going to read more. We're already late, but I just, it's a question of putting the time to tune in better and better and trying to see what's that person need, what can you reach, what can you do. So I actually had drawn these up in smaller ways where you could see them a little more clearly. But yeah, so there's no end with the progressions. It's just adding these other themes coming in that's going on within. You're getting this whole world of other implications coming in that are going on within the transits. As her Saturn's going low and she's trying to put her package together, she's still a single woman in her 40s who's not gonna, probably isn't thinking of it being alone her whole life. But she likes the dangerous or the bad guys. She doesn't like the wimps. So there's she still haven't figured out where has it got me to now? What am I going for next? What's changing? Who am I? What am I going? There's a lot of inner growth going on inside all of this process. So the progressions, knowing the natal chart is the real puzzle. Once you got that, you're starting to see transits are challenging it, and you have to come out of your natal chart to deal with them. The progressions are evolving the natal chart and bring in bigger changes. So as the progression is going through Libra, her Venus is far more significant. Her choices become very important, and her choices are really tied up tightly within that square, within that T-square. So having all these pieces, it hasn't solved everything. It's organized the material properly. So have the piece of information, different layers going on, so I'm ready to talk to someone. Once I know these things, I do this the night before, I sleep on it. And then in sleeping, it goes past the rational, goes into my dream states or my meditative states, and I get up in the morning, I start fresh. And when I start talking to a person, I ask questions, I come into things, and we get into this, and then their experiences start feeding in and telling me, oh, this happened here, and I'm immediately saying, oh, that probably means this, or that means this is going that way. So by getting the experience that someone's going through and a few specific things, it makes this come alive. I only brought up a couple of things. So this is a very smart lady, and I just, I brought up a couple of things that were the puzzles, and we went into the dark side of the Venus, Neptune, Mars. But it's important for her to figure this out. This could be the most dedicated person, but it helps if you're dedicated to a good cause or a good person. Makes a difference. So this is part of her philosophy developing and growing through her lifetime. In the end, as this matures and comes together and she gets it and it starts to click in, her astrology will keep her company through all of this. She'll be working at this, through this, all this, but it's going to blossom and come together, championing the cause, and people really going to notice it by the time her progressed sun gets, and Saturn gets up to midheaven, and progressed sun gets up there on the Uranus and on the midheaven. So she has a very promising future. So her intelligence and understanding is blossoming very positively. That's a really great story in this chart. The personal life and the relationships is still stormy and complicated. So that can bring the sorrow that needs to bring, like sorrow is the mask of compassion, let's say. You can't get compassion if you don't have the sorrow. So she'll have an abundance of sorrows and confusions. Learn to get self-reliance, and through getting self-reliance, she'll have compassion for people who are lost. And she'll be able to advise them really well. Even now, she'll know immediately when someone's in trouble and when it could get worse or better. That's a really good quality for being able to work with astrology, even if she's struggling to deal with those things herself, or especially since she is. Okay, so that's it for tonight. I'm going to leave it here, and we'll do case study number 6 for next week. Thanks. Okay, bye.